This is box number 2 from Corey over at Aquarium Co-Op. I'll put a link to his channel in the description. But Corey has a lot of great videos on planted tanks and other things related to that. Has some really cool videos, done some neat collaborations as well. But this should have, I hope, my actual plants, some driftwood. I can actually see the driftwood peeking out just a little bit over there, and a couple of other odds and ends. So let's get into this real quickly. All right, so tools for working with a planted aquarium, not necessarily 100% necessary, but they certainly make things easier. So these are tongs for getting the plants pushed out into the substrate. Easy root tabs. This is another kind of fertilizer which is used for certain types of plants. I believe the one plant I got that they recommend this for is an Amazon sword or something like that. And so I'm going to try these. I want to do my best since I'm new at this. I want to give all my plants their best shot at survival. All right. Wrapped up nicely in wet paper towels. Dwarf Sagittarius is what this is. Now I had ordered 2 units, which would normally be 2 small pots of this, and I got an email, and they told from the same day, within probably a couple of hours of placing my order, saying that they hadn't gotten the shipment in that they were expecting, and so they went ahead and took some out of their display tank to send to me so I wouldn't have to wait for it. So that was very nice of them. I'll look forward to seeing that in my tank. I'll set the plants over here. The next plant. There's the Amazon sword. So 1 small pot of that. We'll go ahead and take the driftwood out. What I bought was a unit, if you will, or a combination of 3 pieces of driftwood. I don't know that I'm going to be able to fit it all into my tank. We'll see. So there's 3 different pieces. That is a really cool looking piece of wood right there. That one will probably look pretty neat in my tank. But let's see what the others look like. That's a pretty neat piece too. That one looks like, to me, it would be better to be stacked with another piece rather than an individual piece by itself. By the way, this driftwood I believe is called manzanita driftwood. There you go, 1 more piece. This one's a good bit thicker, kind of gnarly looking, neat looking piece of wood as well. Alright, so 3 pieces of manzanita driftwood. We'll see how much of that I end up using in the tank. Alright, the final plant is a Dwarf Lily. Interested to see how that does. Hopefully it'll do well. That's the last plant I got here. And the last thing in the box is not, whoops, almost broke it. Well, at least I dropped it. This one's not as exciting, but it's one of those things that was inexpensive and very functional. If I can get it open one-handed here. It's a little measuring cup. Looks about like a shot glass, really. But nice little measuring cup for measuring out dosing of fertilizers and things like that. All right, well, I'm going to go ahead and start putting some of these plants in the tank. I don't really have the means wherewith to do any kind of a time lapse, so I'm going to go ahead and experiment with my driftwood and my plants and using my new tongs, try to get it all in there, and we'll come back once it's in. Talk to you soon. Right before I get everything put into the tank and start trying to figure out what the aquascape's going to look like, I just want to let you see what all the plants look like once I got them unboxed. This is the Dwarf Lily, just a little guy. It'll have kind of a reddish brown colored leaves, maybe a little bit of green in there. And then this is the Dwarf Sagittarius that they took out of their display tank. I don't know how much would have come if I had gotten the 2 units that I ordered, but this seems like a whole lot, so we'll see how that does. I hope it's not too big. And then I also have my Amazon sword. So that guy looks really neat. I'm excited about that. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and start arranging and see how it turns out. Be back with you in a minute. All right, well, this is what I've come up with so far. In case you haven't gathered this already, I am brand new at this. I have never aquascaped an aquarium with live plants, or even driftwood for that matter, before today. So this is a brand new experiment for me. This is what I've come up with so far. Now I have the Dwarf Lily right here, and the lily says that it prefers low light. So, I don't know if you remember earlier in my last video I said that I was concerned about this side of the tank not getting enough light. Well, that may work out with this plant preferring low light, so we'll see. Then I've got my Amazon swords here in the middle. It actually ended up being two small ones. I did break off a couple of leaves, which I'm real bummed about, but hopefully they're resilient enough that they'll just grow right through it. And then the Dwarf Sagittarius. Now, I have quite a lot of that. In fact, I used two large clumps here, and I still have, I rewrapped it in the wet bag, or wet paper towels in the bag. I have probably as much or more of this left still in that bag. So for the time being, I'm going to take it home and drop it in my hospital tank, which has no fish in it right now, just in hopes of maybe keeping it alive until I figure out what to do with it, or maybe put it in my wife's tank. We'll see. I used two of the three pieces of driftwood, manzanilla driftwood. I'll tell you, this stuff floats so well. I'm hoping once it's been in the tank for a while, it'll get waterlogged and it won't float as easily. So it's buried pretty deep in the substrate, and I'm hoping that that will hold it and it won't be trying to float up in the middle of the night or something. So I have one piece left. I'll figure out what to do with it. Again, maybe that'll go in the wife's tank as well. So this is where we are right now. You can see a little black neon tetra here eating some of the little pieces of roots and leaves and stuff that are floating around. I'm hoping that filter will take care of that, and most of that will settle out. Got a little bit cloudy since I mixed up the substrate again. And I actually have a little bit of rock coming as well, so I may try mixing this up with some rock. You know, being brand new at this, I just don't know what's going on. You know, I never tried this before, and I'm working with a little bitty tank, so we'll see how it goes. I'll keep you updated. The next update, part 3 of this series, will probably be when I add the shrimp. So stay tuned for that. Again, I appreciate you watching. I encourage you to like, comment, subscribe, share my channel if you like what you see. And again, I enjoy reading comments, so please comment and I'll do my best to get back to you. Thanks again for watching. I'll see you in the next one.